Oh, that's ugly. My parents insisted they go to all these religious meetings every week, in addition to already going to church for 3 hours a week on Sunday for the main meetings. This did not include the extra time they spent taking us to our youth activities and the voluntold work that the church leadership would guilt them into. Sorry, maybe that was worded wrong. Let's rephrase this. My dad was quote unquote called to be a church custodian and the ward clerk, and mom was called to be a Cub Scout leader. Their lives were busy with religion. Sunday, Dad would leave home early to go take care of his calling duties before church service started, which left Mom home to ready herself and 4 kids for Sunday service. Monday nights were reserved for family home evening, where we would gather together as a family and study the stories of the Book of Mormon at home. My older sister was just becoming involved in the youth group of the Mormons as she was turning 12, and they met every Tuesday night. I attended this after as well, of the age of 12. Wednesday was Scouts. Mom and I would go to a den meeting for an hour or two. Thursday was a devotion meeting. Friday and Saturday was full of work, work, work to get ready to repeat the week again. After the word spread that we were unwatchable children, my parents took a break from going to devotional meetings for a while. After a month or two, they wanted to give us the opportunity to watch ourselves for once. We felt so grown up. Mom and Dad were leaving us alone with no supervision and trusted us not to kill each other. They packed up their bag of reading materials and headed out the door. We were alone. It was bliss. We played games, rode our bikes in the dark, and ate whatever we wanted to. Each week we had a couple hours of freedom. This was before Grandma and Grandpa moved in, shortly before they moved in, now that I think about it. One week it happened. Someone pushed someone else's buttons too many times. The contention started. The blood boiled and the crap hit the fan. My older sister and I, if I remember correctly, were deciding who was going to be in charge. It was a duel to the death. It could have been very, very bloody. I had a 10-inch straight blade chef's knife. She had a 12-inch serrated bread knife. Neither of us wanted to lose. We swung those blades at each other for at least 10 or 15 minutes, chasing each other around the house and yard, every intention of stopping the other from breathing just to be the one in charge. At some point in the fight, the phone rang. It was Grandma, Dad's mom. She was calling to check and see how things were going. My younger sister answered the phone. She explained that, quote, Andy and Lena are playing ching ching, then hung up the phone. When the phone rang again, no one answered, repetitively. Grandma showed up at the house pretty quick. Mom and Dad got home shortly after as well. No one said a word about what took place. Looking back, we were blessed to not have killed each other during this fight. Her and I have had our sibling quarrels numerous times throughout the years. Never like this again, though. We just resorted to the mature, silent treatment method. Like I said earlier, Dad made himself a lunch every day for work in the morning. He would prepare something from leftovers or make a sandwich with what we had in the fridge. He had a habit of cleaning the blade of the knives off by sliding his pinched fingers along the length of the blade, usually just after cutting cheese or something dry, so he could hang it back up and save unnecessary dishes from having to be washed. Due to the force my 10-year-old tank of a body could exert and the adrenaline coursing through both our bodies, there were some pretty good chunks taken out of the smooth stainless steel edge of the chef's knife blade. The bread knife never cut the same after that. Dad never ran his fingers along the edge of a blade after that day. It serrated the tips of those 2 fingers so bad, I remember them being wrapped for a couple of weeks while the shredded flesh recovered. This injury did not happen until weeks, it felt, after the knife fight happened. About this time, I remember becoming really obsessed with fire. The way the flame would lick across whatever I could get to burn. This addiction gets me into a lot of trouble later. We had matches everywhere. My dad loved to burn wood in the cast iron fireplace we had in the unfinished basement. If I remember right, his vision was to finish it into a craft room for my mom and another bathroom for just in case. A wet bar for snacks while we watched movies in the large entertainment room that would hide the cellar under the stairs. It was a pretty impressive design, but it never happened.